everyone, Christiana here for Card Player TV, and we're here at the World Series of Poker. It's day 1A of the main event, and it's also the last bracelet ceremony for this year. 4 bracelets are being awarded, and the first is going to the $50,000 buy-in H.O.R.S.E Championship winner, David Bach. First of all, David, congratulations on your monumental achievement.
Thank you very much.
Now, it was the second longest World Series of Poker final table ever. Have you gotten to recover at all?
No, I'm wiped out. I was laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I love it cold, and I'm just sitting there shivering. The adrenaline, the way it drains out of you, it's impossible to describe.
For those who don't know, where did you get the bulk of your H.O.R.S.E experience?
I used to play in home games in Atlanta back in 96 to maybe 2000, and we used to play in a home game where we played H.O.R.S.E, and we would use like the apartment door symbols, the letters for when we would change the games.
Oh, nice. What's your favorite game?
7-card stud.
Is that the game that you felt like you had the best edge in?
Yes, throughout the tournament, that was the game that I won the most chips in.
Okay, now who was your toughest opponent at the final table?
I would say H.O.R.S.E. He's a true professional, really well versed in all the games, and just enough deception, solid, but just enough deception you never quite know what he has.
What does it take to be a great H.O.R.S.E tournament player?
You have to have the ability to play all the games well. You may be a little better at one than the other, but if you're weak in a game, that's going to get exploited. And then from your opponent's side, you have to figure out what they're strong and weak in and adjust accordingly.
Okay. Now, you played John Hanson heads up for hours. What did you have to adjust against him to finally pull out a win?
It took me about 45 minutes to an hour to figure out what he was trying to do heads up. And once I was able to do that, I knew that his plan and his fallback position was to show you a good hand. So he didn't want to play a big pot without a good hand. And in knowing that, I said to myself, well, let me pick up all the little pots where none of us have a good hand. And then when we play a big pot, he's going to have me beat. But I might have a 40% chance, and I'm going to win some of those. And so I would grind him down, and then we'd play a big pot, and that was the plan of attack against him.
So what does it mean to win one of the most prestigious tournaments among pros and to get that H.O.R.S.E trophy?
It means the world. I mean, especially being that I think it's the most important poker tournament of the year, and what H.O.R.S.E has meant to the poker world. And then just personally, for this to be my first bracelet to come in this tournament, it couldn't be any better.
Another bracelet went to Hawrilenko, who won the $5,000 buy-in, a 6-handed event. Matt, congratulations on winning the 5K 6-handed event. What's been your experience in 6-handed? Is it mostly cash games?
Mostly cash games, yeah. I feel like 6-handed is like where real poker starts. You know, like 9-handed, 10-handed. It's a lot of automatic decisions early. And, you know, 6-handed, you get to play more hands, make more decisions. So I love 6-handed and shorter play. So it was a pretty sweet one to take down for me.
Who was your toughest opponent at the final table?
Easily Jaka, or Faraz Jaka, Farah Jaka. He's a super tough player, and he's really scary to be in pots against. So I ended up getting it in as a coin flip against him, which is kind of what I was hoping for. Take all the decisions out of the process after the flop when he's just so tough. But yeah, I won the flip, and I was a lot happier after that.
What do you think is the most important difference that you have to make when transitioning from 9-handed to 6-handed?
Well, it's funny. It's almost the same game, right? Like, 9-handed after the first 3 people fold, it's the same game. So you don't have to play all the boring early position spots where you have to play so tight, or you don't have to play against the guys who have to play so tight. So, I mean, the game's a lot more interesting because, you know, the board textures matter so much more, and there's so many more decisions, and people's ranges are so different that it's just a lot more interesting, I guess I could say.
Okay, now you made a final table earlier in the World Series of Poker. Two final
right.
tables, which is heartbreaking because you didn't grab, you know, your first bracelet in the first 2. Was that kind of going through your mind as you were at the final table this time?
Yeah, I mean, this is my 5th total final table, my 3rd this year, and I was at the final table of the 10K limit, which is kind of, you know, my bread and butter game. So I was really heartbroken getting 5th in that, and I was just sitting there last night at the final table saying, oh man, if I have another final table and, you know, I miss it again, I'm just I'm just going to feel like that guy, you know? So at least I'm not that guy right now.
Now you have a bracelet. Do you feel a little bit of pressure taken off your back?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, like playing cash games, I would say that, oh, bracelets, like tournaments, like, yeah, there's some skill, but it's just so much luck. Like having a bracelet, not having a bracelet, it's not a big deal, but it's kind of a big deal. So I'm pretty excited to, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
We also spoke to Abe Mosseri, who won his bracelet in the deuce to 7 triple draw. Abe, congratulations on your first World Series of Poker bracelet.
Thank you.
How did you enter the final table in chips?
I was, I think, third in chips. I had about 340,000, but I was still in a good position. The chip leader had about 420,000, but I felt really comfortable with my chip stack. The only thing I was a little worried about, John Jawanda sitting back of me, but once he got eliminated, I was really solid.
What did you think about the field in this deuce to 7 event? Were there skilled players or a lot of beginners?
It was a pretty weak field. Most people don't really know how to play deuce to 7 well. They weren't re-raising a lot. I was playing a lot of hands, coming in with opening a lot of pots, stealing a lot of antes, and I wasn't getting re-raised a lot. And they were just playing sort of basically a lot of ABC poker, which made it real easy for me to play.
Is there a lot of bluffing in deuce to 7?
The truth, there is bluffing, and there's a lot of what we call snowing. A bluff is more like when you both drawing one card in the river and you make a big pair and you bet and the guy folds. That would be a bluff. But a snow is like something where you're pat after the first draw or something, and you have like a really bad hand. So there's a lot of that too. And I've actually did about 9 snows during the tournament, and I got away with 8 of them. So
That's a good return.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So who's your toughest opponent at the final table?
Definitely John Jawanda.
Do you play with him deuce to 7 a lot in cash games at all?
We've played. He doesn't. John doesn't play that many cash games. He focuses a lot on tournaments, but he's a really tough player in that game.
And the last bracelet went to Tony Veckey, who won the last $1,500 buy-in No Limit Hold'em event. Tony, first of all, congratulations on your first World Series of Poker bracelet.
Thank you.
When you entered the field of thousands of players, did you think that you were going to come out on top?
Not right away.
How did your day 1 go?
It went pretty well. I was average chip stack at the end of day 1. I was playing really tight at the beginning there. I was trying to pick my spots and try to read people as best as I could. So I think I did okay.
Now, for those who don't know, what's your poker experience?
Well, this is my first World Series event that I won. First one I played. I've played in other tournaments, just not World Series. I've played at like the Hawrilenko Poker Tour a couple times. That's roughly it. Just some local tournaments at like the Horseshoe in Hammond, Indiana. I've played a couple events there.
First World Series of Poker tournament, first win. That's a good record.
1 for 1.
Absolutely. So what's next for you?
Well, not this year. Next year I will definitely play the main event. This year I'm not, because I want to mellow down a little. I don't want to make a mistake saying I'm invincible. I won something, so I don't want to waste the $10,000 buy-in there. So I'm going to mellow down a little bit, and then I'll definitely play next year.
Thanks for tuning in to our last bracelet ceremony of this year. The $10,000 buy-in main event is now underway, so be sure to follow the live updates by clicking the CP Live button on the Card Player homepage. I'm Chris Jarnett for Card Player TV.